Yeah. Okay. So when we okay now okay let's I think few of them have again joined. Okay, let's again begin from very first, right? Now see guys. Now we were just discussing about like see in today's world it is not very difficult to write any kind of code, right? I mean when you have a tools like GPT, right? I mean it's really straightforward and simple. Like what you do is just you pick a something whatever you have and just pass it to the GPT, and you just get some certain kind of answer, right? So now when in today's world every single person, if you go to any channel, YouTube channel, any classes, they will have a very structured way to teach all these things. Okay, they'll start from simple introduction to Python, then strings, floats, integers, eventually into loops, and that's like a whole process that we have, right? And they'll ask you to do a certain task, then ask you to give some kind of scenarios, and they'll try to ask you to do it. First of all, I'll tell you, stick with very end, right? There are multiple things that you will learn today. Okay. Second thing is, now guys, my approach is, what we are thinking is, see guys, when you have a certain amount of tools which are already available in the market, okay, and it's no hiding that, it's no there is nothing to hide into that, almost all the industries are using the same kind of thing. They are building every whatever things they are building around the same part, right? If you talk about simple GPT, or if you talk about any kind of tools that you see around, every single thing is built around that only. Okay. So now when we are talking about this particular part, where how exactly we can approach the Python programming now, because see now that is like something, just a second, okay, now that is something like the most core part of it. That is the first part. We start with Python programming, means what? That is a fundamental of every single thing that you will see in today's world. Let that be machine learning, deep learning, anything you will learn, Python programming will be the fundamental part of it. Fundamental part of it. Okay. But now see guys, now what exactly I'm trying to convey you is, when you have the tools like ChatGPT which are already in place, right now, which have pretty good understanding, okay, yeah, this is how I should write a particular code. If you give him a particular let's say thing to do, it has that ability, it can able it can actually generate a particular kind of code for you, but up to certain limit, I would say. Means what? It will say, okay, yeah, if you're asking him to do a certain task, it can bring you a skeleton of it. Now when you ask about the production level codes, definitely not. Okay, that is not that level things that he cannot write as of now. But when you talk about, let's say, a junior level or entry level things, he can do it very perfectly. Now a very simple question can come, okay, let's say now whatever task that I'm gonna go and do there, if all the things are already done by ChatGPT, then what's the use of me? Okay, so this is where we will learn a Python in a very I would say very fun way, and we'll try to introduce something called as prompt thinking into it. Now see, when I say prompt thinking, so what exactly we mean by that? Now let's suppose, see, whenever, let's say, we are trying to break a particular problem, right? Let's say we have one particular problem, let's say, means now first of all I'll tell you a simple life cycle. Right now let's suppose, if I talk from 6 years from back, when I started coding, right? So at that particular time there was something called as writing the code from scratch. मतलब क्या, कि अगर मुझे कुछ भी करना है, if anyone okay, first of all guys, everyone is fine with little bit Hindi in between. If there is something that is not okay, you can just ping me in the chat box, right? So that shouldn't be a problem. Yes. Okay, so now see guys, now when we talked about 6 years from now, okay, let's say अभी से लेके 6 साल पहले, so at that particular time coding was completely different. Means if you want to learn a coding, the only thing that was कि you have to learn and understand every single concept. You have to know how to build the logics. You have to have like n number of practices. Like you need to solve lead codes, you need to solve different use cases to master yourself in Python or any kind of coding. Okay, so at that particular time we had to read every single thing, every single concept was important. Means what? We had to build the logic, we had to build the particular logic for it. Means whatever we are writing it from scratch. Even if you are building a logic, before that we have to write everything from scratch and then eventually think about building a logic, right? But at that time what was happening, even writing a particular code was taking, let's say, 5 hours. Okay, but now see, anything you create, let's say you solve a mathematical problem, eventually sometimes you will get some kind of errors into that, right? There is some kind of error into that, some kind of mistake can happen, again we try to solve it. So like that, there is something called as debugging. Debugging means what? There can be errors that can come into your code. That is very normal. When you write a code, having errors into your code is very very normal. That is perfectly fine. So what you need to do now, when you write a code for 5 hours, what we used to do, the debugging that used to happen, that was not a very very huge thing. Because see, now you are building everything from scratch, from a very basic understanding. You know that what you are doing over there. So you had that understanding, okay, yeah, this is one step, I'm taking this one, after that there is second step, third step, fourth step, right? So at that particular time there were very rare chances of having like a very very huge errors. So debugging was, let's say, I would say 1 hour. 1 hour. But now in today's world, what's happening is, people are literally picking up this whole code and directly passing into GPT. Directly passing into GPT means without any knowledge, direct copy and direct paste. Okay, so this is where this is where people are failing to unleash the most wonderful potential of this GPT. Okay, this is where you guys are failing to unleash the best potential of this particular GPT. Why? Because now what's happening, when you pass the whole thing into the GPT, maybe you will get a code in, let's say, 2 minutes. Okay, but you will debug that particular code. Let's say you will have to debug that particular code maybe for 5 hours. That much amount of errors it will have. Because you guys understand, it is just like a simple AI model, right? Which is trained on a certain data. Means what? It is just like a kid, a first year standard kid. First year standard kid knows about first year syllabus only. Okay, he knows how to 1 plus 1 2, 3 plus 2 1. If you ask him the 10 standard questions, definitely he's gonna fail. So it is exactly like that. When you are trying to ask a questions which are totally out of his knowledge, at that particular time GPT will fail. Okay, and what it will do, it will try to give the hallucinated responses. Means what? Okay, होता है ना कि यार फेक रहा है कोई तो चलो कुछ ना कुछ बोलते हैं. So it's that kind of stuff. Like, just trying to prove कि you are right. Okay, so someone who has no knowledge will think, okay, yeah, he is writing such a wonderful code. But someone who actually has a knowledge knows that this code is completely messy. There is nothing into that particular code which is actually true about it. You again have to write it from scratch, understand from scratch. And guys, that is a thing that is happening in today's world. Means what? You are literally getting a simple code in 2 minutes, maybe a skeleton code in 2 minutes, but you are wasting 5 hours of your time to debug that particular code. Then what's the use of that? Eventually you are on the same page. Nothing has changed, right? So this is where we introduced something called as prompt thinking into any kind of problem that we'll solve. Okay, so what this prompt thinking is basically, first of all, let me admit everyone. Yes. Okay, so guys, now understand. So what exactly this prompt thinking that I'm talking about? See, whenever you get any kind of problem, okay, first of all you will try to break that problem into multiple stages. Break that problem into multiple stages means, see, this is where your thinking potential is coming into play. Just because I'm giving you a certain, let me just admit them. Okay, see, so just because I'm giving you a certain task to do, right, just because I'm giving you a certain thing to do, so you will see, okay, in today's session only, by the end of the time you will have like two very good real world use cases to solve, right? So जब आपके पास, when you have a real world things to think about something, तो at that particular time the most important thing is to break down that particular problem into different steps. And guys, वो चीज़ हम लोग फर्स्ट डे से करेंगे. ओके, आई डोंट वांट एनीवन की रैंडमली और पिकिंग अप अ कोड डायरेक्टली वहाँ पे फेंक रहे हो और उसमें से आंसर ले रहे हो. नहीं, वी हैव टू बिल्ड द लॉजिक. रिकॉर्डिंग इज नॉट हैपनिंग. हाउ? नो, इट्स हैपनिंग ना. Recording is happening, I guess, right? Yes, okay. Do not worry. I'll share the recordings with you, okay? So, what I told you guys, this is what exactly we called as problem decomposition and prompt thinking. Okay, let me just again open it. I'll just write it here. See? Oh, my boards are on the way. Okay, see. What? Problem decomposition and prompt thinking. Okay, means simply you are not gonna write or let's say pick up the code and throw it over there. Now what we're gonna do is, yes, you have the, see, it's like, see guys, even in the very good companies and even in the interviews now, what they have started is, okay, you have the tools, no, you use the tools. Okay, you use the tools, but get us the answer as soon as possible. Now that is what is going on. But now understand, when you use a particular tool, you should have that understanding. Okay, let's suppose if I'm getting a piece of code from the GPT, I should know where exactly I should make the changes so that it can work for my particular problem statement. वो मेरे काम के लिए कब काम करेगा कि उस हिसाब से आई नीड टू एडिट दैट, right? Then only it can work for my own problem statement. Okay, so that particular thinking is what we'll be learning throughout this whole syllabus of 6 months. Okay, so now when I say problem decomposition and prompt thinking means what, how do you break down the problem even, let's say we write in simple terms, how do you break down the problem even before giving it to GPT or even prompt, or GPT or prompt. Okay, means even giving it to anywhere, how exactly you gonna think about that particular problem. So in very simple terms means what, so usually whenever you will break down any kind of problem, we'll try to break down the problem into three different stages. First is, what are the inputs? Okay, what are the inputs that you are expecting? What is the input that is being given to you? Okay, let's say there is a problem you have. Guys, am I audible to everyone? Okay, yes. Yes, okay. So let's say, sorry. Okay, let's say, what are the inputs that you have? Let's say you have a certain problem. Okay, you need to have, you need to solve a problem of, let's say, how much, write a code to write, let's say, addition of two numbers. So in that particular case, now what is the input that you have? You have the two different inputs. That is, okay, number one, number two. So that is going to be your input. So now how exactly you going to break this down? Okay, I have an input called as two different numbers. That is your input, prompt that will come out of play. Then what are the outputs expected? What are the outputs expected? Now in here we will think about the final goal. Okay, ki what exactly at the end of the time you are expecting from this particular piece of code or from this particular problem statement that you have given to me. That is like a second thing that we'll think about. And next thing, what are the edge cases that it has? It has. Okay, first of all, do not worry about any of these particular things, right? Eventually, we gonna understand every single thing in very details once the problems are coming in front of us. At that time it will be easy to understand all these particular things. Okay, so in simple terms guys, what I'm asking is, instead of passing a particular problem directly to a GPT or throwing it, have and build this habit of sending a problem step by step. Means what, give the very clear instructions to do, instructions to it. And guys, this is what exactly we call it as prompt engineering. And guys, this prompt engineering in today's world is a field. People, you can just search, people are literally hiring for prompt engineers. Okay, they are literally paying such a huge amount. So just prompt engineers, what is that, writing English, right? And actually they are paying it. Okay, because it is not easy to write a a very very perfect prompt. Maximum times people, what they are doing is picking up the code and directly throwing. That is wrong. So therefore what we are doing, we need to understand how exactly we gonna break down this particular problem into different steps. Okay, second thing is that now GPT can generate a code. See why exactly see why exactly I'm telling you everything about GPT, because guys, I know everyone uses that only, industry people, you people, everyone is using that. But it's just like, we want to build a logic. Like at the end of the time, we should be able to build a logic for a certain problem. Even if you are doing the task, that is someone else is doing the task, that's totally fine. GPT is doing, that's totally fine. But all these things are important to know. What are the advantages that it carries? What are the disadvantages it carries? And as a fresher and as a developer, how much is actually going to help? It's actually going to help you. Okay, so now when I talk about, let's say, this particular thing, so GPT can generate a code, but they can, or no, they cannot debug it or refactor it. with, let's say properly. Now when I say debug or refactor in simple terms means what? Let's say code cannot debug, it means what? It cannot solve the what exactly is the problem that is coming inside that particular code. Now see guys, you keep on giving, okay, this is the error that is coming, this is the error that is coming, it will keep on throwing you more and more and more errors. Okay, and this actually happens. Okay, so therefore what we will be learning is, we will learn to read, trace, analyze the existing code. Means we will try to understand how to trace a particular, whatever code is there, how to trace that, how to read the code that is being given to us, and how to analyze the code that is being given to us, right? So now eventually we'll understand what is tracing, analyzing, how to read the codes. That is the next steps. But why exactly we are trying to cover all these things? Because from the very first, you should know like how to write an approach for a scalable, let's say, any kind of problem. So now let's suppose, now in after some time, let's say if I'm giving a certain problem, so then when you're breaking that particular problem, you should be able to break it like, okay, now you are giving me a solution, give me a solution like I can understand as a noob, and give me a solution like a production level engineer can write this particular code. Means now what we want to do is, we want to take the understanding of this part also and also that part, even though doesn't matter whether you understand that or not, and it's very simple and straightforward. It's nothing very rocket science uske andar kuch nahi hai, you will understand that. Okay, so means what, from a very first when you get that particular feel ki, okay, how exactly codes are written in this particular whole structure, so at that particular time you will have the very clear idea how to move forward with any kind of problem statement. तो उसके अंदर now see, means what, you have the help but you don't know how to take the help of that particular thing. That is what currently the scenario is, and that is what we want to learn. So along with, see, concepts यार आपको हर जगह मिल जाएंगे, right? Everywhere you will get the concepts, everyone will tell you, okay, what is list, what is, all the data types you will learn, all the oops you will learn, like every single functions you will learn, loops you will learn. So whatever things are there in Python, maybe a simple, I know I can even suggest you more better YouTube channels even than me also, right, who can literally teach you in very simple way. But that is where it comes into play ki what exactly you are learning and what is actually required. Okay, let's say someone is coming in today's world, I'm telling you honestly, and telling you to solve, let's say, 10 lead code codes. I mean, that's really not required in today's world. Lead codes are, for someone who literally have to build a very high level developer, like he has to do every single thing in this world. Okay, so when exactly we gonna do that, when we'll go to that particular phase, in a 4th and 5th month, at that particular time when we will be core into the placement parts, at that particular time we'll think about that, okay, what kind of lead codes we have to solve, how to build the logics for that particular lead codes at that particular time. Okay, so second thing is, these are the things that we started. And last thing, from now till the 6 months, the only thing that we will practice continuously is Python. Okay, understand guys, Python will never wipe away. Means that is the core of everything. You can literally build anything tomorrow. Today GPT is there. 2 years back, let's say simple GPT was there, RAG, simple generative AI was there. Now we have agentic AI. Let's say it's very normal, like in 2 years you will see something else. Okay, so therefore the role of an AI engineer, you have to build very very perfectly. In the morning session also I discussed the same thing. The role of AI engineer is going to be very very huge in coming years. Neither you need to have the very core understanding about every single machine learning or deep learning, neither you need to have the very core understanding about using every single tool that is available in the world. You need to be an intermediate. You should have a fair knowledge here also and fair knowledge here also. Both the things are there. Definitely it's gonna work out perfectly. Okay, so I hope guys, how exactly, let's say, is the, how exactly is the approach that we're going to take into this whole problem, right? Because it's very, in very layman terms, what we say is, GPT can't fully replace any kind of dev workflows yet. Means what, let's say whenever you write the codes in the production, you have different flows over there. Let's say there is something called as development flow. So when I say development flow, means what, ki at a development level, what is the kind of code that you write at a development level, how exactly you create the different structures for that particular code. So at that particular place, GPT is still not there. Okay, so it will take time. So therefore what I told you, take the help of it. Okay, but make sure whatever code you see, you have that ability, you can understand that particular code and you can edit that particular code for your own use case. Let's suppose now okay, there is some kind of error coming, then that also we'll learn, okay, how to search that into the Google, See, Google will never go out, right? Means every single thing that is latest in the world will be present on Google only. So you know how to, operate that official documentation. Let's say you are getting an error somewhere, so then how to go to the official documentation of that particular problem, see what kind of things are used over there. Because what happens, let's say GPT have a knowledge, let's say previous knowledge, let's say maybe 1 year back knowledge. So maybe 1 year back a particular thing was used in maybe different way. Now that particular code is being used in different way. So see, we say no कि okay, अपडेट आ गया, फ़ोन का अपडेट आ गया, एप्लीकेशन का अपडेट आ गया, सबका अपडेट तो आता है. तो आफ्टर अ सर्टन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, इफ यू डोंट अपडेट आई ऐप, देन ऐप विल स्टॉप वर्किंग, दे आस्क यू टू अपडेट दैट पर्टिकुलर ऐप. इट इज एग्जैक्टली लाइक दैट. A certain code is there, maybe at that time it was working like that, therefore GPT gave you the answer. But after a certain period of time it might happen, there might be some changes into that, there might be some improvements into that. So therefore you need to keep yourself updated, with the latest changes that are happening. So therefore what I told you, we need to move with it. We completely don't have to be dependent on it, right? Logic should be ours, let him do the task. You build the logic, let him do the task. Okay, so that is the core idea behind how exactly the Python is going to start with us. That's how we're going to approach this whole problem or whole Python. Second thing, guys, first of all, everyone immediately, as soon as, if you can do it now, it's well and good. But now open your GitHub accounts. Okay, I think I've already told you how to do that, right? And the other day also I told you in a task itself, I told you you have to open your GitHub accounts. In that particular GitHub accounts, you can watch the recordings afterwards. Simply create, you can see a repository over here. If you see, this is like a clean interface. Now we have like thousands of, there are a lot of different things are there. So here you can't see that. Maybe you will see somewhere over here in your own repo, right? So you click create new, you will see create new repository. Okay, you can do it from here also and you can here also. So simply create new repository, right? Let's say write a name, something called, let's say Python programming, right? And something called as Python programming. Okay, so now I have started with Python programming. Now you can just write a description, something like, let's say, okay, today, oh, I'm extremely sorry, wait, sorry, I'll just restart. Okay, wait I have no idea, wait, I just thought, it's just shared. Okay, wait, so what I'll do, so let me just follow the steps. Okay, now see here. So I hope now everything is visible to everyone, right? Now see here. Now let's say you came into this interface, you logged in into your GitHub, right? So now understand, guys, I think on a very first lecture itself I told you maximum people skip here. Okay, never ever skip GitHub, because in the industry is the only work that happens on the GitHub and the Bitbuckets, because it's like what, it's a collaborative tool. Means how you, me and 3 different people gonna collaborate on the same project. So this is what you call a GitHub. You're gonna collaborate from here. Okay, so this is like the most thing that you should know. Even if you don't learn now, eventually in the industries as you go, you have to learn about it. Okay, so it's better you learn it from now only. Okay, because that's how we are approaching, so it's better to learn now. Understand here, when you come here, either you can see a click sign here, you can create a new repository from here also, or either create it from here also. Let's say I click a new repository, simply write, let's say, Python programming. Let's say now, suppose we are starting with Python now, so Python programming. Okay, after that simply write any description, like, let's say we can just write today, let's say, description can be, let's say, starting with Python programming from basic to production level. Okay, something like this. Now next thing you have to do is always keep it public, right? Now you can see, you might have seen my few repositories which are private. So private repositories are basically the ones where you cannot, let's say the client projects or something like that, which you cannot reveal to anyone, right? Those are like secured projects, so therefore you cannot reveal, but you keep it private. Because what we need to do is, we want people to come and see us. We want people to come and, recruiters to see us, okay, what kind of work we are doing. So keep it private, and simply, guys, add a readme file over here. Now always remember what exactly this readme file is. You can just understand. You write a description, right? Let's say you do a certain thing and you write a description about it. Okay, this is what I have done. So in short, this is what the readme about is. Whatever codes you are writing, whatever things you are writing, a readme file is simply the description about that particular part. Okay, it's a description about that particular part. So now let's suppose I'll create this new repository. Okay, now see, guys, now you will see this is how exactly the interface will look like. Okay, this is how exactly the interface will look like. Now let me just move forward. Okay, yeah, fine. Now when you come to this let's say particular part, now see, your main repository is what? Python programming. Now inside this you will create different folders now. So now first folder will be, let's suppose what, let's say week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, like this we'll create the weeks in that. And in that there will be different files. Let's say now today is like introduction to Python and Google Colab. Tomorrow there will be strings, integer, floats, that will be there. So eventually next day will be loops. So whatever we'll be taking on a daily basis, will be updating everything over here. I'll tell you how to do that, do not worry. Okay, now see here, simply click on add file. Okay, add file, and let's say create a new file over here. Now in the new file, let's say write the contents, like let's suppose now eventually after that I'll tell you what to do with it. Let's suppose now I'll write a file, like let's say, means for now I'm just creating one file over here. So let's suppose now I can write, let's say week 1, and let's say basics slash, let's suppose I can just say attempt.txt. Now see, when I write week 1 basics, means what, I'm creating a folder first week 1, and then I'm creating one file inside it, right? So therefore what I did, first of all I created a folder, and inside that I have created a file over it. Now if you maybe want to create one more folder, give one more slash and create one more folder. It is just like that, right? You see, computers, my computers, desktop, then pictures, movies, like this you go into each and every folder, right? It's just like that path you are creating. Let's suppose now for sample I'll create a this particular simple txt file, and I think, yeah, let me just cut it. Okay guys, am I audible to everyone? Fine. Yes. Okay, so now as soon as this is done, let's say I'll write a commit. Where is that? Commit changes. Yeah, okay, let's say now suppose here, let's suppose I'll write week 1. Okay, let's say week 1, and let's suppose now inside this week 1, now let's suppose we have created this week 1 basic folders. Okay, let's say week 1 is there, now this is a folder. Now let's commit this particular changes. Okay, maybe if you want to add anything you can add, or simply create the commit changes, that's it. Okay, now see here guys, now you will see a folder called as week 1 over here. Okay, your Python 1 is there, week 1 is there. Now simply click it, you will see all the things that are, whatever files you will create over here, every single file will be shown over here, right? As simple as that, nothing very fancy, right? Now see, once today's session is done, at the end of the session, now I will tell you how to update, let's say how to upload your whatever product or whatever project that you're doing, how to upload that particular file in this particular GitHub. Okay, because now see guys, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are visible on a very longer term, means every day people should visit. Okay, you can now see, it's not only done. So whatever things let's say we did today, after the session the task will be, you have to go to the LinkedIn, as I told you, on the LinkedIn write a very small post about it. Okay, so whatever things you learned today. Okay, so yeah, okay, this was our first lecture, and this is what exactly we learned in today's lecture, and these are the things that I've understood in this particular lecture. Along with that, you need to add multiple hashtags to it. Let's say add multiple mention different pages like data science, AI. Try to So means what? In general, guys, we want to build the network from today, because that is, see, referrals is the most key thing that will help you to get a job, right? Because referrals are the ones who will always help you, and when people notice, okay, now this particular person is actually doing something. Okay, so then it's easy. There are even like I know a few people who literally just started posting these simple blogs, and now they are like content creators on, let's say, LinkedIn. Okay, so it's like a very simple thing, right? So what you're doing, just to build your own network, you have to do this particular part on a regular basis. At least connect with 20-30 new data scientists around you. Okay, so means what, we are building a network. So next time, now see, the problem in today's world is, it is not like, okay, you will get, let's say send a resume to someone, and someone will just call you and say, okay, yeah, come for the interview. You have to stand out. Okay, so to stand out, these are the different things that we have to do on a regular basis: updating our LinkedIn's, GitHub on a regular basis, connecting with different people, asking them for the referrals, making the good connections, creating a very small message. Okay, when you get a new connection, just send a small message, hey, thank you so much for connecting, I'm looking forward to work with you in future. So it just like it makes them feel, okay, yeah, someone is there. Okay, yeah, that's, you have that audacity next time. Okay, you can go and ask for a referral to someone. Okay, so that's like a very next thing, but you have to do all these particular things on a regular basis. at the end of the session you will understand how exactly you should do it. Okay, so I hope now you understood this. Like inside this Python practice, now you have week 1, and in the week 1 you will have all the folders. Now second thing that you need to do is, okay, first of all let me see if any issues to anyone till now. All good everyone? Wonderful. Now see, second thing is you need to go on something called as Notion. I'll tell you, okay, what it is. Don't worry. Notion. Okay, now let me first of all tell you what exactly the Notion is and what my idea is. Okay, see, first of all, you need to log in first of all, right? Let's say get Notion for free if you do. Okay, now I think I have something. Okay, I need to log in through different thing. Okay, fine. See here. So through Notion, first of all I'll tell you what exactly it is, right? And then what you should do is I'll share you a small 5 minutes video to understand what exactly this is and what is my main idea to tell you about Notion. So basically guys, Notion is a platform where you can this act like your second brain. It acts like your second brain. Means what? You can literally store any particular thing in this world over here. All your meetings, all your schedules, all your important files, all your important folders, all your important notes, every single thing you can literally store here. So now let's say I have seen this very recently. Even the kids, what they're doing is they're storing all their regularly notes over here. Then if they have any kind of files, they're storing it over here. So now what you're doing is you are keeping everything in very structure. So everything is at one particular place. It can be anything. Let's say tomorrow if I give you some links to solve, you can come and save it here. If tomorrow if I tell you to let's say schedule some kind of meeting and keep it here, you can do that here. So means what? Notion is like one of the best platforms that you can keep yourself to make yourself disciplined in this particular field. That's what I do. I've been doing this for very long. And guys, see why exactly I'm telling you to do this, because towards the end of the session we will be building something called as an complete end-to-end second AI brain assistant. Means we'll be building an AI assistant which will be called as a second brain, where we will be fetching the complete data from whatever you have stored in your Notion. Okay, so in general means what guys, now we have literally automated every single task on the Notion. I don't need to go and explicitly do a certain kind of thing on Notion. Okay, let's say suppose if I now just log in. Okay, let's say now suppose I can show you a few things. Let's suppose now if I let's say add some kind of thing over here. Okay, so now in here very easily you can just do any kind of task over here. Do empty pages, let's say empty database you can create. Okay, so on the empty database you can do a lot of things. You just have to little bit just explore about it. Okay, how exactly you should do it. I am not logged in into the new one, therefore I can't show you much things, but it's very simple to do it. If see again, second thing is it's not compulsory, but I would suggest it's better. You can add your task, you can add your projects, you can add your document hub. Every single thing can be done over here. You can literally link to an existing database. Let's say if you have any kind of database, so you can literally link that particular database over here. Okay, so all our things are completely stored over here. All our batches that are there, every single thing that we take for every single batch, what kind of notes we are sharing, what kind of things we are sharing, everything is stored over here. You don't need a third party tool. It's completely free, so you don't need to worry about it. So at the end of the time, what now we are doing is now I don't need to explicitly go and click anywhere. My AI assistants, what it is doing, I'm simply writing, okay, hey, these are the kind of students that I have now, and just we have to just arrange them in a certain way. Just do it now. So now that is automatically doing that particular task. That agent is automatically doing that particular task. Okay, so means what? That is my final goal. Okay, we can actually create some kind of AI assistance around it. So eventually you are storing all your data over here, and at the end of the time you will literally get an access to your whole data in such a simpler way. You will feel like so wonderful, just like a magic. Okay, like everything is coming in place, all the things are just in front of you. Very easily you can interact with any single thing. Let's say now tomorrow if you want to find about, okay, there is a Python file that I have stored at a particular place, can you just give me the name of that particular file? You don't need to go and search in a whole database, or just like you search in a computers. Simply type a prompt and immediately you will get that particular access to that data. So means guys, that is the very end goal that we are planning with it. So I hope you might have just got a simple feel ki what's the main idea to do with all these particular things, and what's the main idea behind it. Okay, very simple, need not to worry. Just a second. From this, the only thing that we want to do is you will be engaged completely, and second thing is you will have that disciplined thing. Like understand, now you have Python programming, in that there are multiple modules, every single thing you are uploading there. Now you will be creating different repositories for your projects. So for your projects you have your different repositories. Then all those projects are actually linked to your resume. So what happens if anyone wants to see your, let's say resume, let's say codes, directly they can just click a link and they can redirect there. They can see, okay, what kind of work you have done. And when they see, okay, yeah, this particular person has been doing for so long time, so it just creates a good, think, okay, yeah, this particular person is actually good and doing some kind of thing. Okay. And now imagine adding a project like, okay, my own database, and I'm talking with my own database. I have everything very structured, and from that I'm talking with my own database. That's like a very plus point that you can add into your resume. Okay. So guys, that was like a whole overview that how exactly we gonna move forward with it, and on a regular basis what are the things that I'm expecting you to do. Randomly, whenever tasks are given, I can simply bump into anyone to ask what kind of things are done, how much things are done. So be prepared. Okay, on a regular basis I expect you to give at least 2 to 3 hours over here. Because see, I won't say now recently I don't work full time as of now, because a lot of work is coming around our company, and now this also started, so somehow we are just out of the full time. But I used to do a full time, then I used to handle that US clients in the night. So usually they have the US time, timings. After that, again from the morning, the same schedule. So I think if someone can handle this much, so definitely you can take out from busiest of the schedule, you can take out 2 to 3 hours on a regular basis. Okay. But if you're expecting you will come today and immediately you will come after a week, let's say directly on the sessions, don't expect anything. From now only you can drop. I frankly I'm saying, I'm not here to get your a single penny that you're giving. I don't even want that. So what I'm saying is, if you're actually serious and if you're gonna do it till the last, then only stay, because it's just gonna waste your time. Okay. So on a regular basis, just spend 2 to 3 hours. If you need me for 1 hour extra, I'm available tomorrow. Let's say something you did not understood today, sit with me for tomorrow for 1 hour, totally fine. But do it. Okay. There should not be a reason something happened and something I could not work it out. That's not a solution. Okay. Because see, now this field expects a lot of different things from you, and when it is expecting certain things from you at that particular time, you have to do it. There is no other option and there is no other alternative to it. Okay. Now after saying a lot of things, I think we are very perfectly go to understand about our very first lecture, that is called as Introduction to Python Programming. Okay. So in here we'll understand about everything, what is Python programming, how exactly we do Python programming, why it becomes so famous, what was the reason to every single person in this world is using this. There might be some kind of reasons, right? So we'll try to understand every single thing that is available over here. Okay. Very good, very cool, very interactive things I have added over here. Every single thing you will see at the end of the time. So therefore I told you, right, every time. So that's again one more thing, you might feel bored. Okay. But I'm trying my best to not that happen, do not let that happen. So therefore what I'm telling is, you have at the end of the time very cool things to do. Okay. Let's say nowhere in this whole curriculum you will see the simple examples or simple things. You'll always have some kind of very cool and very innovative way to do the kind of tasks. So you'll always have to think. So even if you're doing this task, you have to think. Okay. Let's say I won't ask you, okay, write x equal to 1 or x equal to 2. That everyone can do. Okay. So now let's begin with Python, guys. I wish everyone the very best, and I hope everyone comes out to be good data scientists and engineers and analysts. Okay. Chalo. Now see. Now when I talk about a Python, right? So Python now is one of the most versatile language that is used in the world. One of the most versatile language that is used in the world. Now, one of the biggest reasons for this particular thing was what? The simplicity that it carries. It is very simple. Means let's suppose if anyone might be coding in Java or JavaScript or maybe C++, you might know that if you simply want to, let's say, define a class, you need to write a 3 different lines of codes. Okay. Means what? Whatever kind of problem that you will do, let's say it might take 10 different lines to write in any kind of language, this particular thing is doing in 2 different lines, let's say in only 2 lines. Okay. Second thing is a very easy to understand language, like no more syntaxes, like multiple syntax. There are like the biggest errors that we have is the syntax errors. Like syntax matlab kya? The way you are writing the code. Let's say what we expect is, if you write, let's say, something xyz, after that we expect some kind of comma or some kind of marks like this. So means what? Syntax is like another very important thing, like we have to take care about it. So even that is like very difficult when you talk in any different language. So that is also like one of the difficult parts that we have. So now this is where Python comes into play. It's very easy to understand. Like if you just practice a bit, no, it's like just like a very let's say a guy who has learned into a Hindi and English medium, like what do you call that, semi English medium. So he do not have the very perfect understanding about English, right? He won't be able to speak a very fluent English, I would say. So it is just like you are just trying to train that particular guy to learn a better. So he knows about it, but he was just trying to make him more and more better. So Python is just exactly the same way, right? So it's like from a day one only we'll understand, okay, what things are going on over there, right? No unnecessary stuff, nothing, nothing is like too much, nothing like to offer too much, you will see. Second thing is that it is called as a interpretable language, means very easy to interpret, very easily you can understand what is written over there. Next thing is that this programming got famous because of its nature of having a huge open source models, huge open source, I would say, committee community. Guys, now understand, the thing is, see, you talk about machine learning, that is written in Python. You talk about deep learning, written in Python. You talk about NLP, written in Python. You talk about let's say any whole generative AI, everything is written in Python. Data analysis written in Python. Every single thing is now written in Python. Now when we say written in Python, means what? We have created a different algorithms and different models to do all these kind of tasks. So now, even like let's say since 5 years I'm telling, okay, it is not very difficult to let's say implement a machine learning algorithm. You literally have a two lines of code. You literally have a two lines of code. That's the same code that you write for every single problem that you solve. Literally every single type of problem you solve. Because what's there? Because in very simple terms now, let's say I'll show you one very simple thing. Say trend. Say yes. Now let's suppose now there is one official documentation of. Do not have to worry about what it is written and something like that. Okay. So means in general, what, let's suppose there is one module called this one. In machine learning we'll learn about it. All you need to do is just import this particular thing. That's it. How? Let me just tell you. See, let's suppose you're importing numpy from here. Simply from sklearn.model selection import trend test split. That's it. That's the only one single line of code that you need to write, and all the training and the splitting and everything will be handled by this particular one single name that we have written, that is trend test split. So in simple terms, what I'm trying to say, it is not very difficult to understand, it is easy to grasp, and the amount of things that are actually available in Python today, like every single day you will see, now see, you will see a model for every single thing, you will see a library for every single thing. If you want to extract the text, you have the model. If you want to scrape the data, you have some kind of library. If you want to use the APIs, you have some kind of library. Means you do, if you want to do any kind of task in this particular world, for every single task there is some or other thing that is already created in Python. So the only thing that we need to do is just use it. Very easy to connect with the databases, connect with any databases, very easy to do that, very easy to pass that particular data into databases. Again, a very simple thing. So in very short terms, what we are trying to say is, because of its simplicity and because of its nature to solve the very complex problems in very minimal line of codes, this is where the Python got famous. And now literally maximum industries are now evolving into Python very rapidly. Okay, everyone is okay, let's see. Okay, so every single person in this particular era wants to build something around it, right? So every single thing that you see, right, every single problem that you see around can be solved using Python. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay, I'm sorry, just I had to switch on the light, that's it. Okay, so I hope you got this idea why exactly the Python is important. Now from the very basics, now let's understand a simple definition about it, like what exactly the Python is. So let's say we were already here. Let me reduce this. Wait. Okay, so guys, before moving forward, any doubts to anyone till here? Like anyone has to ask anything, sort of doubt, sort of thing might have in mind, wants to ask anything? Oh, Suman, hi Suman, you're here, man. How are you? uh, I think you're not active.
I'm good, sir.
Oh, great. Okay, I think we are good to go, right? Okay, now see, Now guys, see, when I talk about a simple introduction to Python, right? So here what we'll be doing is, okay, right, start something. Okay. Now see, let's say a Python is a very simple programming language, which is one of the most popular programming language in the field of data science. When you talk about data science, you will see every single thing is built around Python only. You will be writing all the different types of libraries, all the different type of tasks that you'll be doing, everything will be in Python only. Okay, so learning Python will provide you access to a wide range of libraries, tools, and specifically designed for the data science. Right now, again, as far as I have already told you, like, why Python? Okay, again, like a very simple thing comes, like, why Python? So again, as I told you, it's simple and very easy to learn. So means what? The syntax that is being written, right? Let's say if I show you one JavaScript code and if I show you one Python code, you will immediately feel the difference. Okay, yeah, whatever things you have written over it's a bit cracky to understand. At the same time, when you are reading a Python codes, very simple and straightforward. You don't have to, put on too much of brains into that. Once you get a basic understanding, you are perfectly good to go. Okay, then Python has a vast libraries and tools that are specifically designed for the data science only, including NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Scikit-learn. So these are the kind of libraries we'll learn as we'll move forward. So these are all the essential for data manipulation, visualizations, and machine learning tasks that we'll be doing. Okay, so that's the first thing I told you, right? Like a Python has a very large open source community. Open source community means what, guys? Understand. Now I'll tell you this meaning of open source. So when you do something public, let's say I told you to do your GitHub's public, so that your GitHub is now open source, anyone can come and access it. Okay, so when we talk about an open source community means what? In Python, anyone can come and suggest their own changes. They can create their own functions, they can build their own functionalities, they can do every single thing around it. Everyone is free to do that. Okay, that is what you call as open source. Means it is open for everyone, anyone can come, anyone can use it. Okay, so that is a very, yes, someone. Okay, now see, guys, what are the different IDs where we write the Python code? Okay, we call that integrated development environment, like where exactly we'll be writing this code. So as I told you, let's say 60 to 70% of the things we'll be writing on Jupyter notebook, right? And as the time will come when we actually want to build the projects, okay, so those projects will be built in something called as Google Colab, VS Studio, Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now for this particular part, I won't suggest PyCharm or Spider, or no need to go into like anything else. That's fine. But see, it's not like it's not usable. Even there are many companies who use PyCharm, but we use VS Studio, VS Code, and it's like very handy to use, very easy to use, and you have a lot of functionalities actually there. So therefore we will use it. So again, as I told you the other day, the requirement of the laptop is very bare minimum, right? Means it should be like it should, let's say, have a few GB of the RAM, let's say a few memory. So if whatever previous laptop you have, if you just configure that, let's say restart that or reboot that, maybe make it like more structured, I would say. If see, I don't know if anyone uses Linux or not, but if you're really you're fond of it, I would suggest you to read the let's say install the Linux. Okay, so Linux is just like what? Just like Windows, we have Linux, just like we have Mac OS, right? So Linux is a OS, operating system, where you can do all these particular tasks. But for a developer and a coder, Linux operating system is very good, right? It's very easy to install, and just like a 15 minutes of video on your let's say on your YouTube, and it will just guide you through all the different steps, provided if it's necessary for you, if you think it's fine, otherwise totally fine. Okay, then, because even in the some resumes you will explicitly see, okay, they have mentioned, okay, do you know how to use Linux, do you know how to run the commands in Linux? So they just expect that, right? So it's not like you compulsory to do it. Yes, I would suggest ki if your laptop is pretty good, it's fine, but somehow if laptop can lag, okay, for certain cases, then I would say, okay, go for let's say VS Code, because it's very light, it's not as heavy as Windows that you are using. And the second thing is that what, it is just like a operating system. The way in Windows is there, the way Mac OS is there, the exactly same way let's say that Linux is there. So it's just like everything will be same, just with little bit different interface. Otherwise you can, everything you can do, everything you can download, watch videos, every single thing you can do. Okay, so main part will be doing VS Studio and Google Colab. So eventually I'll tell you, right, if you get the time, so install it from now only, right, because we'll be using this like very frequently. Okay, as the good kind of projects will come, we'll directly jump into VS Codes only. So there, because see now what I told you, we need to understand the structures of the code, okay, how to write the codes, how to write the structure of that particular code. So eventually we need to understand that code. So therefore it is important to see how exactly we use the VS code over there, because on let's say on Google Colab you cannot do everything, so therefore we have to do it, right? So now second thing, as I told you, on an initial level, why exactly Google Colab? For beginners it is the most ideal choice, because neither you don't need to get in a stuff of adding any kind of installments, or sorry, installations, or any kind of setups you don't need to do. Even if you don't have like a very good laptop, very easily you can run the codes in Jupyter Notebook, right? That's like, it has that flexibility. Very easily you can run any kind of codes over there. Okay, so that is there. Now I think I have already told you the basics about Google Colab. So Google Colab is basically what, a platform where you can write the codes. Now there are multiple things that you can do over here. First of all, whenever you come over here, let's say when you start a notebook, just connect with it, right? Connection is the first thing, a basic one. After that, if you go to here, you will see all the files over here. If you need to upload any kind of files, data and everything, you can upload it over here. Okay, so when we will start learning about data analysis, right, at that particular time I'll tell you how to upload the data sets here, then how to connect your drive with your Google Colab, so that you can get all the access to the drive files that are there. Because many times what happens, the data sets that are there, they are uploaded into the drives. So what you do is you just simply connect that drive and you just try to get it over here. Okay, so that is one there. Second thing is, now understand, very very handy and very very easy to use. Like, it provides up to 10 GB of GPU, I think. I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, T4 it provides. It's fine, we don't need that. Understand, use this DPU, you can say T4 GPU, right, or we can say TPU. Use it only when we are trying to solve like a very very high level problems. So in the companies now we have this additional purchases, like we have this pro subscriptions to it. Because what we do, whenever we have to train a bigger models, like say deep learning models, so at that particular time, instead of doing it on your system and making your system more crash, so what we do is we just run it on Google Colab. They have their pro subscriptions, you can just pay certain amount and you will get a pro Colab. But see, you don't need that. Okay, no one needs that. Like, as long as you're going into the industry, you don't need that. Okay, every single task that we'll be doing will be perfectly handled on Google Colab. Okay, if anyone might be fond about, let's say, Jupyter notebooks, you can use the Jupyter notebooks also. That is also totally fine. So means what, let's say whatever things you'll be creating over here, okay, let's suppose now I am creating a certain file over here, then explicitly you need to go here and save it, let's say download and save this IPYNB file over here. But at the same time, when you are using a Jupyter notebook, it is just like your local host. Means from your local only, from means every single thing is stored in your system only, like local system, that is your computer. But from there you are operating everything. Okay, and this is more like we can say, oh, as I told you, right, it's a web host, right? It's a hosting thing, someone else. It's like Google's platform that we are using. Okay, so I hope this simple thing is pretty clear. Why exactly, how the things actually work in here. Very simple thing. Let's say if you write anything, let's suppose if I show you one particular part, let's say I write, let's say hello. Okay, so all I need to do is either you can do shift and enter, like that you can run, or either simply click over here, run. That's it. If you want to add, let's say, an code over here, you can add it like this. Let's say now you just thought, okay, I have added code, but I need to add some text over here. Let's say you can add a text. You can do all the things now. You can do bold text. Okay, you can write, okay, now I have to write new code from here. You can write, let's say, you can add the links over here. Okay, you can insert the images over here. So you can write everything into the markdowns formats. Means about many students actually follow it, because they try to keep the track of all the things that they are doing, right? Means whatever code they have written, how that code came, so notes about that particular code. So multiple things you can actually do around it. Nothing is compulsory. Eventually, see, let's suppose now you by mistake you created this, simply click here and simply delete it. That's it. Okay, so it will be deleted. So it's just like very easy to use and very easy to handy, very handy to use. Now guys, let's understand and write our very very first program called as hello world. Now first of all guys, see here, whenever you do any kind of thing, so whatever this print that you see, right, this print, So it is called as an inbuilt function that is present in the Python. That is a class that is created in the Python. Now in very simple terms, whatever you need to print, right? Let's suppose print my name. Print Saurabh. Okay, you just run it, you will see a Saurabh over here. Okay, you print nothing over here, you will see nothing over here. You print, let's say, A over here, you will see an A over here. Now whenever, now see, you might say, okay, do we need to pass everything into this double quotes only like that? No, it's not compulsory. You can pass single quote also. Okay, that is also fine. Okay, second thing, now let's suppose whenever you want to pass, it's a number. So whenever you are passing a number or integer, at that time you simply have to pass like this. Okay, so for integers you cannot do this particular part, but at the same time when you are passing something in a text, then you cannot do something like this. It will throw an error. It will say, okay, it is not defined. What is that? Don't worry, I'll tell you, okay, what that is, but just understand this. So means whenever we are passing any kind of textual data, we need to pass that particular data in form of like this quotes. And whenever we are passing any kind of integer data like this, you can write anything like that particular time, you have to pass it in this particular way only. Okay, so means what, when you write this particular statement called as hello world, okay, so in here what we are trying to do is, we are asking, let's say at the back end, what is happening is Python is reading the code line by line and executing the instructions that you have given. Means what Python is doing, line by line it is reading the code. Okay, now see what my the user is saying, okay, print, it is asking me to print something now. Okay, what is asking? Okay, it asking me to print this hello world. Okay, so now I will be able to print the hello world over here. So now guys, this is like, very first program that you write, like, let's say there are like multiple ways to write it. You can directly write like this, you will see over here. Okay, but this is not an feasible option, so we always use the print statements over here. Means what, very specifically we are trying to say, okay, now you have to print some kind of thing over there, you have to print something over there. Okay, so that is the first program that we have written in Python. Now eventually we'll move into numeric data types and everything, what they are and everything. But before that guys, all are with me? Everyone understood how things are working? Any issues to anyone? Great, great. Yeah, if you get any kind of issues at the same time, just let me know. Okay, just allow me a second, I'll just have water and come. Okay, just few seconds. Okay, now how to explain the first program, that is hello world. I mean, how we can approach in a very unique way to tell about any coding. Okay, yes, sorry. Okay, now let's continue. So now guys, see, now when I talk about now see, this is like a very first program that we have written, right? I mean, this is like just a start of it. Now guys, understand here, see, let me just get back to my file. Yes. Now see here, now understand. Someone might think, यार ये क्या है यार, प्रिंट क्या है, लाइक व्हाट दिस इज, मतलब तुम क्या लिख रहे हो, हेलो वर्ल्ड लिख रहे हो, मतलब क्या लिख रहे हो, हर जगह तो मैं यही देख रहा हूँ, राइट? एवरीवेयर आई गो आई जस्ट सी द सेम थिंग. नाउ सी गाइस, नाउ व्हाट विल डू इज लेट्स ट्राई टू ब्रेक दिस डाउन इन लेट्स से अ वेरी ह्यूमन एनालॉजी, राइट? मतलब क्या, एक सिंपल ह्यूमन एनालॉजी में हम लोग इसको थोड़ा एनालाइज करने की कोशिश करते हैं. नाउ जस्ट इमेजिन, लेट्स से लेट्स सपोज यू जस्ट एंटर्ड अ क्लासरूम. ठीक है, आपने क्या किया, you were just a student, right? You just entered a classroom and let's say you want to introduce yourself to someone. So what you do, like let's say you want to introduce to someone, so what you do, guys? See, and always remember, okay, I think Suman is already here, so he knows about it. So my sessions are very very interactive, right? Matlab more and more both way interaction you will keep, you will have more fun, you will understand more fun, you will have better way to understand a lot of things. So it's like better to keep it like both the ways, so that you are having that thinking analogy. Don't simply come sit and go, don't do that. So in very simple question to everyone, like let's suppose I said you want to introduce yourself, what you do? Like nothing, you don't say
We,
anything, anything.
we first greet everyone.
Sorry, just like, yeah,
First, we greet everyone in the classroom,
yes, yes, yes.
and
Okay,
then we'll introduce ourselves.
see what we can do is, let's suppose what I told you in very simple terms, you are going into a classroom, what you'll do, very first thing what you'll say, hey guys, hello. That's the first thing, right? Anyone would say the same thing, right? Hey, hi, hello. And then you will start, okay, this is what I am, this is what I am, right? So that is
Right.
what this computer line is. So those who don't know programs, so in the very first time he's saying, okay, hello world, hello, how are you? So it cannot say hello to everyone, so it's saying, okay, hello world. सबको एक साथ में बोल रहा है. So imagine that particular way, right? So when you say what are the main highlighted components over here, the print is the first highlighted component over here. That is, it is just like a computer's mouth. Means okay, वो computer का mouth है and saying okay, okay, it's just like trying to talk back with us. It is just trying to initiate a conversation with us, because he knows that it's now you're gonna learn something very new, so it's just trying to initiate that particular thing. Now second thing you might have seen over here is, let's say we have written something like this, right? Let's say we had like this, let's say print, I have seen, okay. Let's suppose now this print, it is just like a computer mouth, okay, that is fine. Now when you see this particular two parentheses over here, this one and this one, right? This one, so what exactly these are? These are like containers of this particular Python. Means what Python is saying, okay, hey, whatever you want to say, no, say inside this. Okay, I cannot handle something like this. Okay, I have my own rules. Okay, I cannot go out of the rules, and you cannot do something like this on your own. Okay, you are coming writing print like this, and if you are doing even like this, and let's say if you write, okay, so sorry, we have given the comma, right? Let's say if you just come here and if you just write something like this, okay, I can't tolerate that, okay, because I have my own rules for it.
Please share your screen.
Oh, sorry, I just forgot to do that. Okay, see, in simple terms, what I'm saying, let's suppose now, what Python is saying, it has its own way to convey the particular part. Means what? Let's suppose if you try to write this one and say, okay, let's say hello. It will say, hey, like I know, I can't tolerate that. This is not my way to write it. If you want to write something inside me, you have to write it in this particular way only. So when I talk about this parenthesis that we have seen, like this we have seen, right? This one. See, till now print is nothing. It's just like a simple function. You can see it's like a function. But when you actually click something like this, now it is functionable. Now you can actually write something inside this. Okay. So this parenthesis that you see, no, these are called as containers. Means what we are saying in simple terms. In our terms, we are calling it containers. Means what Python is saying, okay, if you want to say something, say inside this. Okay. So now we are writing, let's say, an hello world. So it is just like a string we are writing. So whatever inside the parenthesis, inside the quotes, whatever thing you will write is called as a string. Now we will learn about data types, like that's the next thing only. What are the data types in Python? Numeric are there, string are there, booleans are there. So what are those? That is what exactly the strings are. So I hope the very first code that you might have understood, you might have understood it. Okay. Now again, imagine something like this. Let's suppose that is one. Now imagine, let's say if I write something like this, let's say print 7. Okay, now 7 is being printed. And what if now suppose, let's say if I write, let's say print and write this 7, again 7 is printed. But guys, now there is a difference between both of them. This 7 that you have written, now it will be treated as a string. Means now this 7 is treated as a word. Okay, it is treated as a word, not as a number. So whenever you want to write the numbers has to be without, let's say those quotes only. Everything inside the quote will be treated as a simple word. It will be treated as a string value. Understand? Now see, now we won't be talking in terms of simple words and all. Now we will be talking in terms of data types from now. Throughout the career, till the time you are in this field, you will be talking about data types. Okay, string is there, float is there, integer is there. So like this you will be talking. So what I said? String. Whenever we talk about a string, everything that is enclosed inside a single paragraph, parenthesis, double parenthesis, triple parenthesis, like this. So this is also a string. Let's say if you write this one, let's say this, okay. So even this is a string. Inside this, if you write anything, okay. So here also, if you write, let's say hello world, now this is also a string, okay. This is also a string. So means what? Whatever is written inside this quotes is called as string, right? Now in very simple terms, what we can do, let's suppose print, let's say if I do something like, let's say hello, and if I just do something called, let's say plus over here, and if I, let's say, add, let's say world, what will happen? Hello world, right? So means what? Now I see, even we can perform such kind of concatenations over here. As we are going to understand that. So means what? Now let's say, okay, someone might say, okay, there is no space in between here. Don't have to worry. Everything that you do inside this statement, you have to do explicitly. If you want to add a space, it's not like you will do something like this. No, this is not a space. It will be like this only. Okay. So when you explicitly want to add a space, what you need to do? You again need to do something like, let's say plus, and you just have to add this one space over here, and again you have to do plus over here. Okay. Now, okay, sorry. Okay. Now you have added the space over here. So in very simple terms, what I'm trying to say is, whatever things you have to do over here, you have to explicitly mention that, okay, this is how exactly we have to do it. Okay. So I hope, now see, now in this particular case, how exactly, let's suppose now I will just give you one simple thing about thinking in terms of, let's say GPT, simple part. Let's say mini, let's say we can just write this as, let's say mini debugging demo. Say mini debugging demo. Okay. See, doesn't matter you are at this particular stage only, but now see, if I do one simple thing, let's say if I do something like this, print, and let's say if I write hello world, something like this. I have write something like this, and if I run it, what's coming, guys? What is coming? Unterminated string literals. Now see, first of all, what do you think? And let's say now think in this particular way. Read the particular error first. Do not have to worry about this read errors. So we'll also understand, like very soon we're gonna start understanding how to handle these errors first of all. Okay. Now see, what we have to do is, the biggest problem with maximum freshers that they start into this industry is, everyone expects the full amount of full-fledged, let's say what we call it as a spoon feeding. Okay. Industries don't work like that. Industry will directly throw work at you. They'll expect the out of, let's say directly an output out of it. They don't care how you're doing, from where you're doing. Okay. So from now we have to start building that logic of something called as debugging a code. Debugging a code means what? Understanding from where the error is coming inside the code. In very, very simple terms, from where the error is coming from the code. Now understand here. So when you have to build that, let's say mindset for the debugging, what you need to do is, you will ask, let's suppose now this is very simple. Now I think you might have seen, okay, there is one comma that we have not given. So we have to complete this, then only it will work fine. So now I think that could have been easy to just look and see, okay, that's a very simple thing. But now let's say now you have this particular thing, right? Let's say if you copy this, paste it into the chat GPT, and what kind of prompt you will write, understand here. Write something like, okay, let's say write a program to, let's say hello world, and let's say to say hello, yeah, let's say write a Python program to say hello to the user by the name. Let's say hello, write a program, let's say to hello, we can just say program to say hello to the user by name. Okay. Now see here, what is the conclusion that we are getting here? Every single line that you will, let's see, now see, what you have done is, somehow you gonna ask about the debugging part of it. Okay, do this particular part, and after that now I'm getting some kind of error from here. This is what now see how exactly will write that particular error. Okay, I was writing a print statement. In that, I wrote the print statement into the brackets, let's say in the parenthesis comma. But now when I'm looking at this particular part, I'm getting this particular error. So means, see, instead of directly picking up the whole, like this, copy and directly paste it there, what I expect is, write this particular error in your own terms. Just say okay, means what, I don't expect you to understand that error and write the error. I'm expecting you to understand whatever you have done till now, that into that particular, let's say, code. So till here what we did, hello, I wrote the print statements, then I given the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis I have given the codes, and inside the codes I have written hello world, right? But now I am getting an error, something called as undetermined strings literal, something like this error I am getting. Write it by your name, like this particular error. Or even before writing the error, no, write it in your own words. This is what I have done, but I am getting some kind of error over here. Now it will list down the different errors for you. Okay, what can be the causes it might happen? Okay, and then try to say okay, yeah, this was a cause and this is what exactly was needed, I need to give this particular part, and then now it will work fine. Okay, so in very simple terms, guys, what I'm trying to say is, whatever kind of problem you get, it's not like I'm not there. You can ask me, that's totally fine. But try to debug that particular problem by yourself first. And guys, trust me, that is the only way to build the logics. Okay, maximum, and I would say 90% of the developers in today's world failed are just because of this particular thing. Because the classes will come, okay, we have the special doubt sessions, you can meet one-on-one, all those lot of fake things you will hear from here and there. But what happens, even if someone is doing that, then that is also wrong. Like even for the smallest problems, if you are dependent on someone, then that is not a case. So you have to, means what, see, when I started learning, one of the very famous lines that my teachers and all they used to say, like they used to say, the one who is good at googling is a good data scientist. And it's actually true, right? Means once we started learning, I initially used to feel like, what he's saying, man, like anything. So means what, you are just simply asking Google to do it? Yes, we are asking Google to do it. Okay, so but the thing was, we are not asking Google to solve a problem, we are asking Google for a particular help. Means okay, let's suppose if I want to understand, okay, where is the problem over here, so what I'll ask to a Google, uh, I am writing a Python code in which I have written a print statement, and in that particular print statement I am facing some kind of errors which is saying that something like this. So from where that error might be coming and what can be the causes of it. So means what, you are trying to define your error in such a way, in a very simpler way. Means understanding the error also is one, let's say, we just call it, no, it's like a kala, it is like an art. Okay, understanding a error is like a art. Understanding error and understanding problem, if you understand both the things, 70% of the problem is solved. Okay, so therefore I told you, like, we have to build this particular part eventually. I don't expect you to do this today. Okay, but what I'm saying, as you will move forward, have and get that habit. Okay, as we'll move forward, we'll understand how things are actually working. Okay, now let's move forward. Let's understand what are the different numeric data types that we have. So the first numeric data type that we talk about is integers, right? अभी आपने देखा होगा, let's say ये जो मैंने 7 लिखा है वो इंटीजर है, राइट? तो जो भी चीज़ें मैं 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 लाइक टिल 1 लाख 1 CR 1 वट एवर यू कैन राइट, एवरी सिंगल नंबर दैट यू आर राइटिंग इज अ इंटीजर नंबर, is a integer number that we say. That is called as a numeric data types in Python. So what will that? We'll focus on the two main numeric things, integer and floats. Floats means what, guys? Let's suppose now I'll write something like this. Let's say let's say 7. Okay, let's suppose now int of 7 means what, this is like an integer 7. At the same time, if I do, let's say, float means what, it will be 7.0. Understand what float means? What, guys? All these numbers, right? 3.2, 1.2, 6.7, something like this, right? 8, or all the point numbers are float numbers. I think you all know, right? Simple data types, simple float, integer, that's what exactly we are talking about. So when I talk about simple float, let's say, so float point numbers in Python are notable because they have a decimal point in them. Okay, you can also use it as an exponential because what happens when the numbers get very huge, right? So 4e2 means what, 4 times, or let's say 10 to the power 2, 4 times 10 to the power 2. So in an example we'll see, okay, don't worry about it. So in computing, floating numbers, or you can say floating point, is an arithmetic formula of representation of the real numbers that supports the range between the precision. You don't have to go in very detail about the simple definitions like this, but in very simple terms, what is that? There is a data type called as integer, there is a data type called as float. Okay, so in numeric Python we talk about this float and integers. That is one. Now Python actually supports multiple basic operations. Okay, it actually supports multiple basic operations, right? Now when I say okay multiple basic operations, so what do you mean? Let's say addition is there, so very easily you can do 2 plus 1, right? You can now see, you can write 2 plus 1 like this also, and second thing you can also do, let's say print in bracket 2 plus 1, something also like this you can do. You also get 3. Now one more thing, understand, if I write something like this, let's say print in bracket 2 plus 1, guys, what do you think can be an answer to it? Anyone? You can answer in the chat. What do you think should be an output to this? Like just like a random guess. Anyone?
2 plus 1 are there.
Okay, 2 plus 1. Okay.
It will display.
Exactly. Right. So it will just display 2 plus 1. Why? Because it's a string. As I told you, right? Inside this particular brackets now it is treated as a word. Okay. So whatever you will write inside this, you write blah blah blah. It will be written the same thing. So I hope you just got the simple difference, right? So this is 2 plus 1. Because it's a string, it will return only 2 plus 1, and now here it is now acting like what, a simple integer, so it will be 3, right? So like this you can do an addition. Eventually you can do subtraction, right? Eventually you can do a multiplication over here, or division over here. Now exponential, as I told you, right? Now again these things you will see, right? Let's say to the power we write, let's say 2 to the power 3, so you'll get, let's say 8. Okay, so to the power we write into 2 times into, we'll just write, instead of 1 we'll write 2 times. If you want to do a cube, what we'll do, we'll write 3 times. It's not sorry, for a cube I think we write, here we write, okay, yeah, double, okay, it's fine, okay, it's fine. Okay, so it's like we are just doing a, let's say, exponential of it. So 2 to the power 3 is like what, 8 of it. Now see guys, now Python also follows something called as BODMAS rule expressions. Okay, it also follows that. Now see, plus multiplication you will see, right? So you will see 10 plus this will happen first, and then the next thing will happen, 2 plus 2 3 plus the 5 into 100 is 105. Okay, so whenever you talk about the operators in Python, they always follow this BODMAS rule. Let's say for any kind of arithmetic operations, means first of all they will always look at the brackets, then they will always look at the orders, then division, then multiplication, addition and subtraction. Just see, just like we did in our schools. Okay, I think everyone knows what BODMAS rule is. Exactly same we are doing. Now let's suppose now this is the thing that we have. So first of all we can see the brackets are there. So first of all bracket will be solved. So 5 plus 2 will be solved. Doesn't matter, multiplication is next, to the power is next, doesn't matter. Bracket is first, so first will be bracket. So 5 plus 2 7. Okay, now we have 7, and you can see 3 to the power something like this is there, right? 3 to, okay, 3 to the power this one, right? Let's say 5 plus 2 7 is there. Okay, yeah, fine. Now what we have is, let's say 3 into 2, that is there. Okay, so then again it's gonna be to the, okay, so, okay, now okay, it is taking in this particular way. 3 to the power 3 to the square is 9. Okay, so 9 7 into 9 63 minus 1. So now first of all what it did this bracket, then now we had this to the power sign. So 5 plus 2 is 7, that is first answer. Now next thing that will come on after this bracket is order. This is like a to the order that we are saying, to the order 2, right? So this is like 3 to the power 2, it's 9. So 9, 7 into 9 will be how much? 63, and finally the minus will come, subtraction, that is minus 1. Okay, so it's just like an so see, similarly now see, what I can do is I can write something like this. Let's suppose now I'll just copy this. Okay, okay, now let's say I'll copy this one. See here now guys, first of all you can just look at that. You have, if you just remove this, now there is no error inside this. Now you can actually enclose this whole into the bracket also, one bracket, that is fine. But now see here how things are working. First of all 5 plus 2 is happening, then this is happening, and then eventually we are multiplying these two, and then we are subtracting minus 1. Now if I run this, you will get this one. At the same time now, so that's what I told you guys, every single thing can be written inside the print statement. There is no harm in that. So you can simply, let's say how you write a print statement, so simply copy this, give the brackets around it, and simply write the print statement over here. Sorry. Okay, now you can see that you have got a 62 as answer. Means it had that particular thing where, you know, very easily you can understand, okay, yeah, this is what exactly is written, and this is how exactly way to do it. Similarly now you can do it here also. 3 will come into 10 will come, plus 2 will come. Okay, now see guys, I hope you are just getting a hands on it, right? I mean, you're just understanding like what exactly things are going on over here. Okay, so now we have a very cool task to do. एक simple activity क्या है? Let's suppose now you have a scoreboard. Okay, understand, you have to think over here, right? There is no direct answer to it. You have to think about it and then you will get the answer. First of all, before going over here, I need to tell you one simple thing that is called as variables in Python. Okay, say just add it here. Where is that? Yeah, variables in Python. Okay, so before that, we'll just add one thing before going over here. What I need to do is yes, okay, see here. Now, what is the task that you have? Let's say an operator working behind the scoreboard of an, let's say, internal cricket tournament, right? So it is responsible for updating the scores and the points for each team. However, operator is currently facing a challenge. The challenge is he has been tasked with updating the total number of points gained by the team London, but he does not possess the necessary programming skills to complete this particular task. So according to these tournament rules, teams are awarded the following points based on the outcome of the match. So win equal to 3, draw equal to 1, lose equal to 1. So now Team London has played 9 matches in this tournament. They won 6 out of it, lost 2 and draw 1. Right? So the operator is in need of assistance to let's say calculate the total number of points earned by the Team London. So as a Python expert or as a Python knowledge you have, with the help of simple integer, floats and boolean values, can you exactly solve this particular problem? How exactly will approach this particular thing? Okay, so again, think about it. How exactly you're gonna do this? I'm gonna give you this notebook. Okay, think about it first, right? How exactly you're gonna do it? Simple things are there. Simply we have to use the integers and floats that we have used. If you think, if you build a logic, now break down the problem. What is the first thing that I told you when I started the lecture? Understand what is the input that you have, then understand what is the output that you are expecting, and then see what are the edge cases that you have. Okay, see what outcome you are expecting and then eventually move forward. Okay, so now with this what will happen is you will get pretty solid understanding in mind ki how a problem is framed. So now this is like a problem that is framed just like you see anywhere in the good use cases. Okay, so now we did not talk about the booleans. So see guys, that's what did we see here. So when I talk about the booleans, right, so booleans are just like true and false, right? It's a true, like this is that, now this is a true. Okay, if you write false, it's a false. At the same time, if you write true, now this is wrong. Okay, now this is wrong because you have to give t as a capital only. Okay, that is how the syntax is given. Understand, it is not defined. Not defined means what? Like what is the meaning of it? Okay, you are simply saying name. If you just say name, but whose name, what you are trying to say over there, whether you are asking first name, last name, whose name you are asking the name of person, animal, dog, like what you are asking about, you are simply saying okay name. Does that make sense? No, right? So when you specifically mention okay what exactly that means, what is the meaning to it, that particular time only it will make some kind of sense. So true means what? It's just like a simple word that you are writing which has no meaning to it. At the same time, now when you write a true like this, now this is turning out to be an, we can say, and we can say this is like a boolean value. It is treated as a boolean value now. Okay, so many times you will be using the conditions where you will try to check the conditions if they are true or not. If they are not true, then we'll perform some different task. If they are let's say not true, then we'll do some other kind of task. So in such kind of scenario, boolean things are very very important. You will look at understand about booleans in very details. Okay, I mean it's just like a true and false, nothing else. Okay, we'll see how exactly we implement that. Now see here, what I told you, define your fixed values. So what I told you, that's the first thing, right? Understand the input. Think from that very first line that I told you in the today's lecture. What is that? Understand the input. What was that? 1 win equal to 3 points, draw equal to 1 point, lose equal to 2 points. Now based on the logic that you have written over here, now you need to understand and calculate the total number of points gained by this team called London team. Okay, so before that particular part, we need to understand what is variable in Python. What is variable in Python? Now understand here guys. See here, now it is just like very very simple thing. Let's say if I talk in very layman terms, let's say usually wherever you go, right? So let's say you see a letter or wherever you go to any let's say you go to Facebook. So what they do, they'll say okay name, let's say first name, right? There will be equal to sign, you have to write something. That will be last name, right? Then there will be, let's say, email. Okay, then there will be, let's say, age. So like this, multiple things they're asking, right? And then you're filling, given the value. So in very very simple terms, what is a variable? A variable is a fixed name which actually accepts the multiple values into that particular string. Means, understand, if I ask a first name, so I am also writing my first name, but that is value is different. Someone else is coming and writing the first name, but the value is different. Some third person is coming and writing the first name, but the value is different. When I say value, means what? Name is different, right? But this particular thing is not changing. Means, this is what exactly we call it as a variable. Means, what you do, it is just like a label, right? Okay, this is like a label to write a first name. It is a label to write a second name. So what's the, let's say, if I simply write, let's say, Facebook won't show anything like this. Okay, just let's say simply blank pages like this are there. So how will you understand where to write something? You will write anything like this. Anywhere you will write anything, right? So till the time you don't have the label, right? Let's say label is what? First name is the label. So till the time you don't have this first label, it is not possible to tell the name here, right? Then only you can write, okay, this is my name. But when you don't have this label, what you will do? Even if, let's say, if you have built a whole Facebook only and there is no first label itself, is it possible to do anything? No one will be able to log in also, right? So this is what we call as a variable in Python. So in very simple terms, what's the meaning of variable? It is just like a storage. Okay, imagine, let's say, you are packing items into a box. Okay, let's say you are packing an item. So usually we do, let's say, especially in Maharashtra, when we have the festivals, right? Let's say Diwali is there, so we try to pack the different stuff to our relatives and everyone. There will be just a second. Hello. Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, so now see here. Now let's say, in very layman terms, what we'll say, let's suppose I have let's say, variable over here. So in very simple terms, what exactly variable says? It is just like kind of a storage. Okay, means what? Let's say I write name equal to, let's say, Saurabh, something like this. Let's say I'll write it directly here. Okay, let's say I'll write something over here. Let's say here, let's say name equal to, let's say I will write Saurabh. Okay, now when I will print next time, okay, now next time I need to just print name only. Now here, if I now print name like this without giving the columns, that will perfectly work fine. Why? Because you have already given the name in this particular parenthesis only. So therefore, now if you just do this print name, now it will work like this. Okay, so this is what you call a variable. Now second thing is what? Let's say name, let's say age, let's say 27. Okay, it's like a E student. Is he a student? Yes, true. Means what? Now this is how exactly we have asked, like a particular name is being given, means this particular name is called as a variable, that where you have stored the name called as Saurabh. Okay guys, so this is how exactly you try to understand this particular terms which is called as a variable. So variables are the entities which help us store the information and retrieve it later. Means, now see here, now once you store the information inside this name as a so, you go here also. Let's say if you go here, but yeah, one thing, understand, the scope will be inside this file only, right? Outside this you cannot do that. Outside, let's say if you go to some third computer and if you print, let's say, name, it will fail. Let's say now if you do a name over here, okay, now still it will print a Saurabh only over here. Because why? Because name is already stored inside this now. Okay, now name is stored inside this particular variable called as name, Saurabh. So now if you now change it, yeah, now if you change it, then it's a different part. Let's say if I do now ABC, okay, and now if you just go and run their name, now it will be ABC. Now you are updating that, that's fine. Okay, but always remember, whenever we try to write anything, we write that inside the variables. So variables are the entities which help us to store the information and retrieve it later. Okay, retrieve it later. Got it? Yes, exactly. Okay, so now that's still here, it's fine. A Python variable is reserved, is a reserved memory location to store the values. In other words, a variable in Python program gives the data to a computer for a processing. Means whenever you are storing particular value, see, definitely you are storing it somewhere, right? Let's say this name you can see over here, means somewhere in the Python memory it is stored, right? So Python will allocate a separate memory for this particular block. So there are memory blocks. So that memory block, in that particular thing called as name, the memory block called as name, where your only this ABC value will be stored over here. Okay, so now in this particular case, how memory allocation happens, how things change and everything, that's like a very advanced part that we'll learn next time fir kabhi. But that is how exactly we deal with it, right? So now see here, now we got an idea. Let's suppose now what we can do is we can write a simple program. Let's suppose now I give x value to be, let's say, 1. I want to do addition of two numbers. Okay, I do x equal to 1, then I do, let's say, y equal to 1. Okay, now if I run it, now what I need to do is I need to, let's say, print the value, print, let's say, x plus y, something like this. I'll get the value 2, right? Now one more thing how I can try the same thing is like this. So what I can do is, instead of, let's say, directly adding x plus y over here, what I did, I just stored that particular x plus y value also inside a z. What I'm saying, whatever is the addition of these two, just store it inside the z. So now what I'll do, now I will print the z value. It will also get the 2 only. Okay, similarly now if I just now see, now z value here was doing addition, but now I change the z variable and now it is storing the multiplication. Now if I do this z, you will see that z is now 1. 1 into 1 is like 1 only, right? Because now it is, now this z variable is now assigned to what? Multiplication type. Okay, so now it is 1. So I hope you are understanding this, right? So it's like just like a variable you are storing. And now see, if you write a type like this, let's say you can get a data type of any kind of variable. So we learned about all the data types. Let's suppose now I will write something like this, say x equal to, let's say I have 1. Okay, and if I type, let's say, type of 1, it will be integer. If I type, let's say, type of x, it will be integer. Why? X is now stored inside the 1. At the same time, now if I do, let's say, x equal to something like this, okay, and now it will be string. Now it will be string. If I do, let's say, x equal to something like this, let's say true, okay, now this will be boolean. Okay, let's suppose if I do something like 1.2, it will be float. Okay, so like this very easily you can check the type of any kind of data type. You have the data type, okay, this is how exactly we'll check it. So I hope you are understanding this, right? Let's say similarly now you can do a division also. Similarly you can do a subtraction also. You can do multiple things in together in one single code. Okay guys, so I hope you are all understanding, you all are with me. Guys, don't try to leave the sessions in between, right? Never a good habit. I mean, you will. So anyways, it's fine. Now see guys, now we talked about that. Now see guys, now there are few things that we might have learned, right? Let's suppose now, let's say we did this x minus y, we did. Okay, now let's suppose if I do x divided by y, okay, you will see this 1.2 value. So let's suppose if I do this one, 0.199. Now see guys, now this is a very interesting case, right? Let's suppose now I have value of 1, okay, x value, let's see now what happened was, x value is how much? 1. Where is that? Yeah, okay, sorry, not that one. Okay, see here now. Now when we talk about this particular part, right, let's suppose now modulus function. Okay, now let's understand what exactly the modulus function actually do. So let's suppose now if I do y equal to 5, x equal to 3, y equal to 5, x equal to 3, and I said z equal to y divided by x. So now if I just print it, what will happen? 1.66 will answer will get. Okay, so in simple terms, now we'll understand about this modulus, let's say. Now at the same time, now if I do this one, double line, what will happen is you only get 1. Because what this particular modulus says, because it will ignore the whatever is the integer, or let's say whatever the remainder that you get, right? The modulo operator you might have seen in English, right? Sorry, in mathematics, right? So modulo will ignore the whatever is the next we can say, what do you call that, that remainder that is there, no? So it will try to forget that particular remainder. Okay, so that is how exactly we are getting this particular value, and now you can see it's like 1.66. Similarly now exponential we have seen. Now let's suppose I did same thing. What I did, 2 to the power 3. That's what I did. But then I just thought, okay, no, this is not really not a good way to write it, right? Maybe what I can do is maybe I can store something like, okay, first number equal to, let's say 1, right? Let's say 1. Second number is, let's say 2. And now if I want to, let's say final result. One more thing guys, from a very start only we gonna start have this habit, right? So means what? Never ever write simple things like x, y, a, b, c like this, okay? Always have a habit to write a very broad terminologies. Means when you are writing this particular part, write it broad. Variable name should be very, very broad, because when you write the codes in the production, and when you simply type like this x y a b c, like these names you give, after a certain period of time you will not even remember what that particular thing was doing. You will completely get lost. So you will see whenever now I'll start showing you my codes, right, how you write it. So you'll see that even the variable names are like this huge. Okay, the let's say number with lowest value, I mean like this, such a huge numbers are also there. Okay, means more and more descriptive, better it is for you. Okay, so now if I just do this and see, if I simply do this final result also, it will also print what happened. Oh, second number dot came in between, right? It's like equal to. Okay, okay, second nom. Now see guys, what happened, second number is not defined. Why? Because we wrote a second number here, but what we wrote here, second no. So whatever is a variable name, see, when you ask a name, you expect, when you ask a first name, they expect you to write a first name only, right? If you write a mobile number there, what will happen? You will get an error, right? It's just exactly like that. So when second no is stored, you have to write a second no only. Okay, you will see 3 over here. At the same time, you can also do something like parenthesis and just print it. That's it. Print it inside the parenthesis, you will get the same number. Okay, so this is how exactly you try to solve a very simple problems. So similarly, you can see z equal to x to the power, so you can get a z value over here. Right now, what we can do is, let's suppose now we created some kind of function over here. So what we did, in bracket x plus y divided by y plus in bracket y minus x into x. Now what is value of x and y? We have the value of y equal to 5 and x equal to 3, right? We just applied simple BODMAS rule over here. So now you can just see, if you run it, you will see 7.6 and it's the float value. Okay, so now guys, see, now we understood all these particular parts, right? We understood how to define a variable. Okay, now I think you should be able to do this particular task. You should be able to think about this particular task. Okay, so though we have already solved it here for the first time, it's totally fine. As you move forward, you can totally do it. Now understand here, let's practice the above problem while using the variables and replace them with the actual variable names. So let's suppose now we have win equal to 3, loser equal to 0 and draw equal to 1. Now total win, see, we have got let's say 3 wins, right? So total win will be 6, total losses will be 2 and draw will be 1. So that is, see, whatever is given over here, we are just writing it down. That's it. Whatever is given in this problem, right? So what Team London did, they actually won 6 matches. So what we did now, they won 6 matches. So therefore what we did now, we created one variable called as total wins, or we can see number of matches they won. You can take anything, right? Let's say I took number of matches. Let's say I'll copy this for you. Okay, let's say copy this for you and let's paste it here for time being. That's here. Understand here. So what happened was, so what I told you, understand the inputs first. They won 6 matches. What happened? So what we just, okay, total win equal to 6. Then they lost 2 matches. Total loss is equal to 2 and drew equal to 1. They draw one particular match. Okay, so means what happened was, you defined the fixed values. These are already fixed, given. Okay, you have 3 points for winning. How much point you have? 3. For losing you have 0 and for drawing you have 1. So what this Team London out of 9 that they have done, they have won 6 matches. So we created a variable called as total number of wins. You can write total wins 6, total losses 2 and total draw equal to 1. So like this 3 I am writing. Now I will try to calculate the points over here. So I think now you can all calculate, right? So you can just do it at home. So you already know now how to do that. You already know number of, what is a point given for each and every win, and you already know how many wins they have. So you just need to do the simple calculations, right? So total wins into win plus total losses into loss plus total draw into draw, right? And finally print it. Okay, so now understand, you had a very proper problem over here, right? You solved a problem statement now. Okay, I did not tell you, okay, take one number, take second number and do the addition of that. No, I think anyone can do that, right? Let's say even a 5th standard student, if I make him sit here, if I ask him to do x equal to 1, y equal to 2 and do x plus y equal to 3, that's very simple. Now here what you are having is, somehow you are able to understand what is written over here. Somehow you are able to understand how we are framing a certain question for you. Okay, so therefore I expect, you can just now do this simple thing. You can definitely do it at home. Right now, I hope every single thing is pretty clear. So all simple things, okay, all these things are there, no? So that I'll cover tomorrow. It's already too much. So I think we can stop today, and then I'll make you understand about how to write the variable names, because there are some kind of rules that we have to follow while writing the variable names. Means what? Let's suppose you cannot write a variable name like this. You cannot start with at the rate. You cannot start with one. You cannot start with a number. Okay, you cannot start with underscore. I think it's fine. Underscores are fine. You cannot start in between like this. You cannot do that. So means what? There are certain rules that we have to follow. Okay, you cannot pass like this. Okay, so means what? There are certain rules that we have to follow. Based on that particular rules only, we define what kind of and what set of rules that we have to follow over here. Okay, and how to give the variable names. It's very simple. Nothing very difficult. Right, very easily you can just understand. Right. So okay, guys, I think it was pretty too much, but I think eventually we have to get used to it, right? Because the long way to go and a lot of things to do. So we have time in between. So therefore, I told you have to spend a little bit more time on it. Okay. So when you start spending more time on it, you will get more and more better feel of it. Right. So I'll share this notebook with you. Okay. After that, make one thing. Okay, just try to solve this particular problem. Right, and from a very start, again start thinking about it, like what Python is. Try to do it by yourself now. Try to write a simple variables. Try to write a different print statements. Okay, so for this particular thing, there is no assignment, because I think it's the first lecture. Okay, so from tomorrow's lecture you will get the assignments. Like there will be a proper, like the way you have seen over here, in exactly similar way you will get the problem statements over there. So you have to think logically, and then you have to answer a certain thing. Okay, so what I told you now, what's the main thing? Do not pass anything raw to the chat GPT. Do not directly pick like this and pass it raw to him. Try to have a very proper understanding about that particular problem, break down that particular problem, and then try to pass it. Okay, eventually it's just gonna make it more and more better. Okay, guys, so I hope session was pretty interactive. Everyone might have understood it, right?
Yeah, so
Yes.
so this is what we are using. This is colab, right?
Yes.
And are you going to share these notes with us?
Yes, of course. It's for you only, right?
Yeah. Can you please add me to the specific
See,
course section?
that's what I was just about to tell you. So the thing is, we almost everything is done. Only last few things are remaining, where we are just trying to set up very simple things that are remaining. So because of that, I did not give access today. So I have already seen. I was just about to tell. Just wait for a second. Wait, I'll just show it to you. Okay. I don't need admin login. Okay, let's suppose now are you okay? Yeah, this is a screen. So is there? Okay, it's not there. I just need to take the credentials first. Wait, I'll just show you. Just allow me a sec. Okay, let's say. Okay, so see, everything is perfectly ready. Okay, nothing is left, but there are a few things which we are on a way. It's almost done. If you go to continue learning, you will see whatever sessions that are done till now. You will see all the recordings over here. Recordings are also available over here, already uploaded. So every single thing is already done. Only few things are there that are remaining, right? Just like by tomorrow morning or something, you will get, everyone will get access. Just allow me it's very little things, right? So it's like we don't want okay, when we are giving this particular thing, and you are just having some kind of issues into that. So therefore we are just not publishing it like immediately. So as soon as it's done, immediately you all will be enrolled. So it won't take like more than tomorrow. Okay, so don't worry
Sure,
about
sure. No worries.
it. Sure.
So the course title will be End-to-End Data Science with Gen AI, right?
Yes. So few of them here are more of a data analyst role, wants to focus more on that. So for that we have some different thing. For that, after a certain period of time, we have to shift into Power BI, understanding about that. So there will be a different batch. But yeah, up till now, till the Python and everything, it's gonna be the same flow only. Okay.
So, sort of one question. What is the purpose of the guild hub? I didn't understand.
Oh, okay, see now, I'll tell you. See, Rishabh, what happens, Rishiraj, see, one thing always understand, whenever we do any kind of coding on production level, right? Let's say now in an industry you are working, okay? Now let me share my whiteboard. I'll tell you. See here. So all these kind of problems, write it, try to search them about in very details. Okay, now understand from me what exactly it is here. Now you are there, okay, you are one person, I am one person, and there are, let's say, two more people who are working on the same project, right? Now let's suppose now there is something, let's say you might have built, let's say I'm a backend developer, he's a backend developer, okay? So let's say he might have built some kind of small thing. So based on this particular changes only I can move forward. So when I will get the changes whatever he has done in the code, then only I can move forward. So now understand, let's say if he's a, let's say, a coder or a developer, so what should I do? Should I ask him, call him, hey bro, just send me the code, hey bro, send me the code, hey bro, send me the code? No, right? So there has to be a centralized system, and this centralized system is called as GitHub. So means what? Whatever things you are doing, you are pushing it here. Whatever things I am doing, I am pushing it here. So when you push it here, let's suppose now if I want the changes of your code, I will pull that changes into my particular code, let's say code base. Okay, and then I will start working from here. Okay, similarly now all this particular thing, it's like a centralized system that we use in the let's say industries. So from now why I'm telling you, because people ask for the GitHubs, like they want to see like what kind of work you have done. You might have seen, right? Let's say if you go to let's suppose now this is like one simple thing. If I just write, let's say, GitHub for Python, if you just write it, see here, now you will see that so many different people, let's say around the world, they are building so many things around it. See here, see this particular Les guy is there, so he has done so many different things around Python. So what they are doing, they are doing some kind of projects, they are uploading it over there. So what happens when you are doing this particular thing, you are getting famous, means indirectly you are saying, okay, yeah, I have done so much thing on work, GitHub, you can go and check my work. So it is just like a platform where you can easily showcase your work. You always don't see, let's suppose now tomorrow someone is visiting your profile on LinkedIn, right? So like every time are you gonna, let's say, send him a resume, or is he really gonna download your resume every time and see what you have been working on? Definitely not, right? Let's say you have your GitHub links, okay, yeah, on GitHub, okay, he's doing such kind of work, that seems really cool, okay, let's follow him now, let's give him a star, let's follow him now. So means what? Indirectly you are building your own connections. That's one thing. And in the industries, that is the most important thing that we do. That is where we collaborate, that is where we do all the kind of stuff. So because of that only, we this GitHub is actually very important. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yes,
So
yes.
we will work on the GitHub.
We will not, sorry, I just forgot to mention that one part. So we won't be working on GitHub, we will be working with GitHub. Okay, we'll be working on collab only, like whatever codes will be shifting, whatever things we'll write here. And now see, collab, it's different. Now see, in collab how we'll do it, let's suppose now this is done. So what I'll do, I'll simply take this, I'll go here, see here, files, simply I'll add something called as save a copy to a GitHub host, or let's say save a copy to GitHub, sorry, save a copy to GitHub. I'll click it, it will do an automatic connection. Share this tab, you will see here, simply just accept, we do authorize it, it will redirect to your page. See here, it will redirect. Now it will show every single thing that you have. Okay, where exactly you want to send it now? Scroll down, what kind of let's say now you will have only single repository as of now, it's fine, but now I have multiple, so I have to think, let's say
Not able to see your screen.
how, okay, sorry, wait, it got stopped or what? Okay, now it's fine.
Yeah.
Now see here, so what happened now? Did you able to see till the authorization?
Yes.
Yes, right? Now see what happened, authorization happened, automatically this page will open in front of you. Now you just have to say, okay, now see I have multiple reports, so what you need to do is you only have one, so you don't need to search much. So okay, see I might have somewhere, okay, let's say Python programming would be there, right, somewhere. Just now I created, right? So it's just here, might not find it, let's say machine learning with Python, something like this. Okay, so now here you will see
It's
a
there. Yeah.
branch that is created. Simply what, now see there you created one folder, right? Simply select that particular folder over here and directly click OK over there, automatically this file will be saved over there. Okay, so
Okay.
in simple terms, what you are doing now, you are regularly updating whatever you are doing regularly, you are regularly updating that particular thing on a GitHub also. Regularly you are checking, okay, how things are working, regularly you are so means what, everyone can see, okay, from Python till the very end he has done multiple work over here. Like now let's say if I send you a notebook, what you will do, you'll store it somewhere in a local store, it will get lost, right? So
Yeah.
That's
So
like
it's a page where, like, in a common ground, everyone can see what they are working upon, and if anything is required, we can go and pick it from there.
it is more like a way for everyone to collaborate in the industries, right? As I told you, it is not possible for everyone to connect with each other and ask for the simple things, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just like, okay, you have done your work, now just push it there and now you vanish off, right? Now let me see what to do next. So it's just like a centralized system, and now then only, so all the code that you see, right, so all the code is stored there only for every single industry, whatever production level codes are going on, so all the codes are stored in the githubs and bit buckets only. So eventually we'll make it into the more and more structured way, and then we'll publish it, to the main server. So it's that's how we move it.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes. uh, yes, I hope, guys, it was great talking with you all, and yeah, bye bye everyone. So whatever things I told you, make sure you are doing it. Everyone ping me on WhatsApp who are not connected, so that I can just share the links with you, and all these notebooks that is there, so that will be shared in the our group, right, the enroll group. So that notebook will be shared over there. Okay, so then, guys, yeah, see ya, thank you so much, bye bye, take care.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
tomorrow
you,
same
sir.
time. Tomorrow same time, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
bye.